Guess what time it is? It's true crime story time. MeKenna Reiley, part 2. I'm going to try to make this one as quick as possible, but I promise you, if you guys just hold on for the ride, it is going to be wild, and you are going to be shooketh. Shooketh. For those of you who don't know, this is MeKenna Reiley. She was a missing person in Blue River, Oregon. Like a little tiny town that basically nobody ever hears of unless you know of this town. She went missing on April 5th after having what police say is a mental crisis. They let her drive away, and that's the last time she was ever seen. The next time they got any new information about her and her disappearance was when they found her body once it had risen from under the water in the Blue River Reservoir. The place where she was found is really weird because it's a place that a lot of people frequented. The water of Blue River never got below 40 degrees. So we're talking from April through August. So during the summer, if you're deceased and underwater, it normally takes 2-3 days before you float up, especially when the waters get warmer during the summer. So this alone just doesn't make sense, and it's about to get even more crazy. So here is some information from the police report regarding someone who gave a lady a ride from the store. So she appeared homeless and maybe mentally unwell, and he gave her a ride because she kept asking, and she wanted to be dropped off at the river where her camp was, which is right where MeKenna ultimately ended up being found. In the car, she jokes and she says her husband killed the MeKenna girl because they wanted to try cannibalism. And then the female, who we later find out is named Erin, said she was joking and that she killed the girl herself. So this is highlighted. And you can tell, like, the police document this. They get footage from the mini mart that this man picked this woman up from. And they asked this man to look at the photos of women that they got from the mini mart to see if any of them were the women he was talking about. And he was able to ID the woman he gave a ride to as a woman named Erin. And he was concerned enough that he thought it was real, that he should bring it to the police. Feel free to pause your screens and read this because it is insane. So this Erin lady is finally tracked down by Lane County Police. She says, I have a brain injury. I don't ever remember saying that, but I think people might think I killed MeKenna. And then we find out that this Erin girl was actually staying down at the reservoir where MeKenna ultimately ended up being found, along with her boyfriend Desmond and MeKenna's boyfriend Wyatt. Okay, that's wild. So in the highlighted portions, you can see Erin stated sometimes she has a hard time distinguishing between what is real and what is fake. The police officer says, it was apparent during my interview with Erin that she struggles to maintain a train of thought and is not always sure if what she's experiencing is real or fake. Okay. So then they take DNA swabs and they just let her go. They're just like, okay, that's good enough. Without getting anybody else involved, any mental health professionals, no one. The officer decides that, okay, even though we have a witness who says she admitted to this murder and this woman ended up being found exactly where she was camped, I think that she isn't cognitive enough to, like, what? Give a correct statement? It's just nuts. Like, she should have been taken in for questioning. She should have been evaluated. She definitely has more information that we don't know about. So the DNA samples are collected and they're lodged at the Lane County Sheriff's Office. So at least we'll be able to get some kind of answers, right? Wrong. Last but not least, and these amazing police reports, since MeKenna was found and the medical examiner determined that there was no antemortem trauma anywhere on McKenna's body and ruled the cause of death freshwater drowning, they did not have a crime. So they didn't have any suspects. Even though at the time the officer knew that, he still sent the DNA and a can of beer and a razor blade that was found next to where MeKenna was found. And he requested that the Oregon State Police Forensic Lab run them for DNA or latent prints. And then a few months later, because in all reality, DNA, fingerprinting, all that stuff takes anywhere between 6 to 8 months, even if it's expedited. So it looks like OSP Forensic Lab was short on resources and overwhelmed with their workload. Due to the fact that I did not have any evidence of a crime and no clear suspect, the lab would not be able to move forward with any forensic testing at this time. They told me via email that they would be sending the items I submitted back to the sheriff's office where they can be stored in evidence. Now let's review. Let's just say that things went down according to the police report. That MeKenna on April 5th had a mental crisis, went down to the reservoir, went swimming, and accidentally drowned, right? So then she's underwater from April 5th until August 19th, I believe, something like that. So, for all of those months of warming water that was never even freezing to begin with, she doesn't rise. But then, underwater, you have aquatic activity, whether that's fish or little crawdads or whatever. I just don't know how the medical examiner is able to determine what was caused before or after submersion, and whether she was even submerged for the entire time she was missing until her body was found. On top of that, how is it that you have an eyewitness account to someone who admitted to murdering her, and it was enough to follow up on, that the police went out and found this woman to question her? You know she was camping in the same spot that MeKenna was found. You know that she was camping with her boyfriend and McKenna's boyfriend, who has a history of violence and McKenna had a no contact order on him. And enough to get a DNA sample, but you leave it at that. Like, something is wrong here. When is this going to stop? Who's going to call Lane County Sheriff's Office out? I'm about to roll down to Blue River real soon and let them know that this isn't okay and that they're totally ignoring a murder. And this family doesn't deserve to go through this at all.